And here we go. So the game is starting. I'm going to take down this overlay here for you guys. And it's going to be on Catherine Square. And it's going to be between Knight and Lillekanin as Terran Zerg versus MyuNgSiK and Fox as Terran Protoss. Catherine Square. And this is the finals, guys. Best of 5. Game 1 starting right now. This is going to be epic. So here we go. At the top we have Knight as the teal Zerg, and we have Lillekanin as the green Terran. And at the bottom we have Fox as the pink Terran, and his ally MyuNgSiK as the Protoss in red. And this is really interesting. We do not see a lot of Terran Protosses play in these 2v2 tournaments, mainly because I've talked about this before, but the Terran is so strong. Terran is strong because he's flexible, versatile, a lot of different options in progression and transitioning, a lot of harassing potential. And Zergs are just great for map presence. So Terran Zergs are great, Protoss Zergs are great, double Terrans are great. But Protoss Terran, it's very hard. You need to have very sturdy mechanics, very flawless in your execution of a lot of builds, orders, and timings to really capitalize on the strength of the Protoss Terran, sometimes more static unit compositions. So we're already seeing here that Lillekanin is opting to send his SV over here. So it's going to be a proxy barracks here. And he's going for an 8. So this might probably be an 888 of sorts. And this is going to be really, really interesting to see how this turns out. We're seeing that the Koreans here at the bottom are already starting to wall off their entrance. He's setting here the probe. It's going to probably put down a gateway soon. And he's going to probably place it in such a way, I was going to say in such a way to get the probe out. But his ally lowers the supply. He needs to scout as soon as possible. And the top, we see Knight deciding to go for a 10-pool speedlings. So this is going to be an all-in. They're just going straight for it. Straight for it here. A risky play. It's the first game of the match. They want to try to put pressure onto the Korean team, see what they're capable of, and not disclose all of their cards, all their exotic builds that they've been performing throughout this tournament. The Koreans here, I'm fairly sure when I say this, they probably have a lot more sturdy mechanics than the top team, but they might lack a lot of experience when it comes to 2v2, so hopefully the top team can capitalize on that. We see the probe already seen the gas, they know something's up, and now they're checking here just to confirm if it is indeed like an all-in rush, and he sees something coming, and he sees the gas, he clicked on it for a split second, sees it at speed, he knows, now he comes over here, and he's getting prepared, he's thinking, should I put in a Zealot? What do I need to warp in? He says, okay, I need to warp in first my core. So he comes over here. No, he's going to warp in a forge. He was hesitating a little bit there. Should I make a Zealot or should I get some kind of tech going? Instead, he decides to get his core and his forge down. He does not make the Zealot, and that might actually be the correct choice. They're probably going to have to just sack this. He's probably going to have to use this pylon and get a cannon in his main or something like that to stall as much as possible. A Reaper out for both teams. Both super red low. Like one extra hit and both Reapers would have died. It was really down. I think this SV managed to get one more hit. Lillekanin is being very careful not to lose this. Every Reaper counts because he's such low economy right now. And the bottom team has Empowered. This bunker is in good prime position to defend the Terran, but it can't reach over here where the pylon is, and they cannot repair that, so that falls down and the links start pouring in over here. And there's no cannons up. This forge has just not in time. It couldn't really do anything just yet with it. So it looks like the top team, our European and American team, decided to really put on early pressure. It's sort of the mind games. They know it's a best of 5. Even if they lose the first game, they can rattle up the Koreans a little bit here. And we're seeing a lot of the harvesters being pulled, and a lot of these lings super low. This is an issue with your lings getting caught. You want to keep these alive because you're really low economy, so you don't want to waste the lings without getting any kind of return here. But a good amount of Reapers. Lillekanin here has 2 barracks versus 1, so he's getting more Reapers every second, but the first Stalker pops out for the Protoss, and he has the Mothership Core as well, so Lillekanin decides to focus over here more on the probe line. Almost no gas here being mined for our Protoss player. And let's look a little here, almost no SCVs. He's been pulling these SCVs and running around, and the second barracks that I missed here has been making Reapers, so yeah, he has 2 barracks, but he doesn't have really the economy. He hasn't been mining a lot to be able to crank out these Reapers. Barely has enough to make one at a time right now. Both teams, this is going to be really down to the wire, guys. And right now, Protoss is just really trying to stabilize here. He's chronoing out a Stalker every second that they delay and manage to stabilize. It's in their favor. But the top team they might already be thinking of transitioning here. We already see a drone moving over to this side. They think I mean, I don't think these Zerglings are going to do a lot anymore since it's a full wall, and now it's a supply so you can repair. The Reapers versus Reapers war keeps going on, so I think Lillekanin is the only one who's going to keep up this aggression with his last Reapers. Instead, Knight here, the Zerg ally, is starting to just drone up and focus on macro in transition. It looks like the Koreans did a great job in stabilizing, and he might just even sack these Reapers, just get a few more SCVs. Let's take a quick look here at the Harvester count. We got 12 versus 18 for Lillekanin, so he's ahead. And in terms of the Protoss versus Zerg, I would say it's pretty even, because actually probably the Protoss, because the Zerg really needs a lot more Harvesters than that. We do have good saturation on the minerals, only one gas being mined, but I'm seeing here MyuNgSiK did a great job at holding off. Great job from these Koreans. Any other NA or European team would have, that's a much harder time, I think, as Protoss Terran on this kind of map. This map is really hard to defend what these Koreans just defended here. And we're already seeing here now the command center going down. The next is there's the transition into the mid game. And both teams know it's going to be sort of a stalemate right now. Lillekanin's lifting up his production line. The Reaper, I think one Reaper got shot down, but this other one managed to save itself to come down here. Reapers are now not so much for harassing, but scouting information. It all matters. It's all very important. There's no escape route here for this Reaper. The Mothership Core can cut it off here, and this entire area here is a void, but he can just scout a little bit longer, as much as possible. One cannon going down here, and a sentry. So they're still a little bit on the defensive. They don't know what's going on here. We do have a probe here, which could be really big for some a proxy or something like that. But we do have in-base Stargate. So the choice of tech follow-up here for the Koreans is going to be some Oracle harassment, which is actually the right choice. But that said, here we see that Lillekanin is putting down his first turret already here. There's 4 barracks. That's one of these things here about this Reaper is that you have so much infrastructure after that while you're cranking out your command center. Sorry there, guys. My voice is starting to fade here a little bit, but we can't. This is the final. We got to go all in here. And the Reapers here from the Korean Terran poking in and harassing this drone line. They're doing an excellent job here. So I have to give it for both teams. They're doing exactly what they need to do in these kinds of situations, and I'm really interested to see how Lillekanin here is going to crank out. Look at this infrastructure here, and he's going to do a swap soon, so he's going to have some good bio coming out at any time soon, and it's all going to be about this Stargate, and he is going Stargate into robotics. This is a more like a 1v1 style here that we're seeing. He's just playing it he's just falling into his strengths, his mechanics. Korean player MyuNgSiK here doing an exceptional role here of staying into this game, and now the Oracle is going to come out, and it looks like he's rallied it all the way over here on the left side, so he's going to loop around from the left side. The Reapers here just scouted this entire area, so they know there's nothing over here, no Overlords, just scouted, and they don't want to go through the middle because of these Lings here at the Zalnaga Towers. So good job. Overlords also here, and Lings. So the top Zerg has really given like an arc of vision around the bottom base. Right now here, we're seeing here the Oracle is flying here from the top, and look at this here. He really wants to go for the Terran, but he'll get anything he can get. He knows that this base isn't going to really have a lot of saturation. He just wants to go for as many drones as possible. We got 1 drone down, 2, 3, 4, and every drone counts at the stage. 5, and almost, but it gets pushed away here. Now remember, every drone that falls down here is going to be a further delaying of the Mutatech, which the top team needs. They need this Mutatech, this layer tech to happen to be able to get more map presence and more map control. The Terran Zerg team, they feed off the map control. If they don't have map control, then the Protoss team just has the better unit comp. They can just waltz in through the front door. So what you really want to do as the Terran Zerg team is you want to keep the Protoss team in their bases as much as possible and just eat up the map. And we're also seeing another command center going down here. This is exactly what he needs to do. And the bottom Terran is just barely now catching up to the Harvester supply line, but he's 1 CC down. And here's the Void Ray. So the Void Ray has been revealed, so they know there's going to be like a mixture between ground and a little bit of air. But that's also a good thing for the top team, because he's actually not going to go for Mutisks here. Like, there's no Spire. I'm really surprised. I would have expected the top team to sort of capitalize on more movement control. I think what's going on here is that, realizing that there was the Oracle, they didn't want to take that risk of having mutas versus phoenixes. And wow, this is a big pick, guys. This is a big pick. Hold that thought. What I was saying here. This drop here. I'm not commenting on it too much, but it is big. It is really big. That was the second command center, and now the bottom Korean is only down to one command center. Think of command centers now as like your harvesters for the Terran. In 2v2, the more command centers you have, the more you can just, not even really worry about your harvester count. We really need those orbitals going. And 3 versus 1 and the second one here in the making, this is big for the top team. So although they're not going to have that Mutalisk advantage with the map control, I really think that that Stargate play scared off the top team. He just went straight into defensive Hydra play, followed up now by Roaches. Like, he didn't put down the Roach Warren, so he didn't really want to go for a ground Roach level play. But I think the Hydra was just a response to air. They were just worried, well, what happens if he has now, like Colossus plus air units or something like that, Protoss Deathball. We've got to do something about that, so we need some meat. And this might actually be not the right choice here from Knight. He needs to keep the aggression going. That being said, both teams are still sort of on the edge because of the early aggression, so they're just playing a little bit more safe than they would want to be. And the bottom Terran here has a decent amount of bioforces, but his economy is still in shatters. And let's take a quick look here at these upgrades. We got 0-1 for the bottom Terran, and we have here 1-1 for the Lillekanin's bioforces. So right now, in terms of the Terran versus Terran, the top Terran is definitely has the upper hand, but Protoss Terran are so strong and just straight up fight, especially if they fight together. But we got another drop here, and this is going to force all the units from the Korean Terran to come over here and clean this up. And another drop over here. So many drops going on, and this is going to win as much time as they needed. So I think this is the plan, is that instead of using the mutas for mobility, they're using the bio drop. So we've seen Lillekanin usually be the one that's like the sturdy wall of defense back at home that builds the nice, strong composition. But now it's a turnaround. It's mainly the Zerg that's building the big ground army that's this scary. That being said, here we have 2 Colossus and almost no Roaches. There's mainly Hydras and little bio here, and they could melt. Another drop here, and this could be big. The Medivac drops, and I think the Korean is like struggling here. He's telling his ally, I need some help. You gotta send something. You gotta warp some units in here. I'm gonna lose this again. Lillekanin just moves over to the corner. He doesn't want to micro. He could focus that, but he's too worried about his own bases right over here now. And it looks like they're just going for it. They realize, okay, it's do or die. We're going to lose this. Look, I have a drop over here. I have a drop over here. I got it. We got to just go frontal. Let's just do this. And great force fields, and the Colossus is catching a lot of those Hydras and Bioforces, and now the Bios come in. Now that the DPS dealers, like the Hydras, are coming, the Bio can come in and clean up these Roaches. This is a big, strong army. This is very scary, very, very, very scary. I think this could go either way, guys. If the Koreans make one single mistake and they lose this army, it's over, because they have nothing at home. Nothing. The main of the Protoss is going to get mined out, and he does have some pylons. Look at this little road here of pylons that he's building. Make sure that he gets as many reinforcements as possible, so even if 1 or 2 of the pylons get picked off, nothing can happen. And Zerg is trying to muster as many units as he can. Look at Lillekanin desperately trying to get infrastructure in the back of his base. He needs to pump out units, any kind of units, anything to be able to stall this gigantic death ball coming over here. And they're slowly waltzing. They're not even, they got all the Terran infrastructure, that's all they wanted, and now they want to go into the back lines. They want to get over to this choke. The drones are being pulled, the Roaches, the big gigantic surround, and also drones from the back. It's like an all or nothing here, complete surround, and it looks like all the drones are just getting annihilated. I don't know if the drone pull was the correct choice here. Maybe, he has bases all the way around here. It would have taken a long time for all the bases to get cleaned up. Maybe he could have stalled a little bit longer as the base here at the bottom gets cleaned up. As it looks right now, it looks like both teams are really low supply here. Only the Protoss is the one with this scary, still 3 Colossus and a Void Ray over here and 2 Immortals. All these really cost-efficient units right now in these base trade scenarios, and he still has a good amount of mining here. I mean, he's still warping units here to defend. So I think the Protoss is in an excellent situation right now. It looks like the Koreans are in the upper hand, and Knight is trying to do the thing that he's been doing so much during this tournament. He's going to counterattack. He's just like, I cannot attack this straight up forward. We got to clean up these pylons, got to put on more pressure. Lillekanin has sort of stabilized here. I mean, he's not sure what he can do. He has no add-ons. He only can make Marines. They do nothing against Colossus. The GG goes down. LRK team loses game number 1. Wow, what a game. The back and forth here is just incredible. Wow, so great game, guys. Great game here from Knight and Lillekanin against the Koreans. And it just shows that the Koreans are so resilient. They just play into their strengths, their mechanics, their macro. They're so solid 1v1, so they know they can adapt to whatever the foreigners throw at them. So we're going to see how this turns out. And now it's Knight and Lillekanin's turn to decide the next map. So great game number 1 on Catherine Square, and we're going to see what's going to happen in the next game.